Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with our first grand finalist, the rank 1 Protoss in the world in the blue, the smiling assassin. It's hero. Facing off against herO's greatest stunt double, in the rank 1 Zerg player in Korea, we have Solar, in a best of 7 Protoss versus Zerg grand finals to Wardi's Christmas Day tournament. And if you like belated Christmas presents, it'd be awesome if you could also smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. And we got the algorithm. And Jimmy, what do we have? No, we're not taking a vacation. 1,768 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than the first drones, as hero was able to force, or at least coerce, Solar into taking the third, and going to exploit the gap and the creep to be as annoying as possible. Shades past the first queen. 2 Zerglings will ask the adept not to murder the drones, and the sacrifice is accepted. The queen now is going to follow it up, and so far, but wait, there's more. 2 adepts able to take out even more of the Zerglings, and look at the worker count during all this. It is common that the Protoss takes a bit of a lead with Chrono Boost and the consistent production, but Solar's adding even more Zerglings. Hero, edging that shade cooldown towards the last second, and really forcing Solar into an awkward position. Already hamstrung economically. And the adepts will cancel the shade, doubles back at the last moment. Juke Skywalker over here. And the adepts still in the corner, and now the Oracle to follow it up, providing cover for the shenanigans of the adepts. And so far, hero, not a single drone or Protoss unit has died, and only a handful of Zerglings. Assuming you can fit 5 Zerglings in your hand, so big hands. But he's done his absolute best to keep Solar busy and keep his economy as uncomfortable as possible, while committing almost nothing. The adepts come in, pick off another Zergling. A few more drones on the way. Hero has his third base in a timely fashion. Not particularly quick, but certainly not late. Solar has that third up. The Oracle's gonna try their hand, this time metaphorically. The obligatory, as the prophecy foretold, an Oracle would fly into the mineral line, get 2 drone kills, and fly away. Not exactly a rare prophecy, but somewhat predictable. Adepts boxing out. The Zerglings just not having a strong go of it. Caught somehow at every turn by the Adept Shades. And now, the Triumvirate, the Treacles, the Tricycles, making their way across. 3 Oracles, forcing a response of at least 3 Queens, and even then, if you don't have a transfuse, they can burn right through them. Plenty of energy, and Solar sneaking the drone count up throughout all this. He has no real ability to do any sort of aggression. That's just kind of how it works. All right, I was going to launch into some sort of tirade where I pontificate about how strong Oracles are and how lacking Zerg is in anti-air. But very simply, unless you're willing to go all in, you have to go all out towards the economy instead. Meanwhile, the Queens transfuse, though, and the Knitting Needles will drive back the Oracles as they delay the 4th base. Lair is already done. Blink and +1 for hero with a Templar Archives on the way. A Spire. It could very well be Mutas out of Solar. In fact, there's no reason it wouldn't be. Corruptors don't make any sense in this scenario. But maybe something to throw. No, that would be very dumb. Now, it comes down to whether hero scouts it before the mutas are in his mineral line, or whether he can just figure it out by the lack of aggression otherwise. The Spire being a little bit quicker than it was a few months ago. Banelings having 5 HP after their speed upgrade, combined to make Mutaling Bane a much stronger strategy than it was. Okay, somewhat stronger strategy than it was not too long ago, but no Baneling nest. It's just going to be roaches underneath. Blinking +1 now completing hero. And Adept diligently in the wall. All 3 Oracles light up, and the Zerglings. He's killed 1 probe. 24 Zerglings shaved away. Not exactly a critical number, but certainly uncomfortable. a line of creep tumors and a D1 Oracle. Oh, now we're being stingy with the Oracle energy? I see. 6 mutas in production. The Overseer going to spot the Templar Archives, but hero hasn't figured this one out yet. Or he simply doesn't care. I'm never sure exactly which one it is, but I'm leaning towards the first one right now, as it would be very odd to be getting +1 armor and a robotics facility and warping in 5 zealots if you thought mutas were an imminent threat. So the roaches are spotted so far, and hero, he's seen everything but the mutas themselves. He sees a whole bunch of roaches, but oh, if he didn't see the mutas, he's figured it out. Their cannons on the way, more as a bulwark at the natural. A fleet beacon begin. Okay, well now he knows. A fleet beacon is on the way. Hero with the dramatic tech swerve. He finds his way onto the exit ramp, and we'll see if he can catch up in terms. Meanwhile, infestation pit. Solar doing the exact same thing in the other direction. Everybody taking a full U-turn. Hero going back into the skies, and Solar heading towards the ground. Very likely heading towards lurkers and trying to catch Hero dealing with the mutas. There are 8 mutas. One of them was taken out, but not a single additional muta in production. Both players playing tech footsies for now. You can find more of a similar theme on my Dronely fans after you like and subscribe, but I digress. Before I get demonetized. And now a lurker den is in production. Hive tech on the way. Still no direct engagement, but the mutas are forcing something of the issue. Hero loses one of the oracles, a bit lackadaisical. And yeah, sure, why not? The very first thing with that mothership that Hero will build. Sorry, that fleet beacon, I gave it all away there, didn't I? That fleet beacon that Hero will build is a mothership. I think he's realized he's not dealing with a mass muta composition, but instead something designed to catch him off guard. But he's never on guard, so that's impossible. The roaches boxed out to the right flank. 1-1 is done on the ground. He's still got some adepts mixed into the army. The gateway, the stalkers just spontaneously blinking away. Archon and Zealot gang just wandering off to cut off the roaches. And despite the hemming and hawing of the early oracles and early mutalisks, it looks like we're going almost directly to the extreme late game. Tempests, Immortals, Mothership on the way, lurkers alongside a hive. Very soon it's going to be What? There's no anti-air! He's saving the Templar with his prism, which... But why is this necessary? I don't... Well, that was very sad for the mutas, but the rest of the Zerg army is coming in. Solar is maxed out, and really he's trying to free up supply. Some drones here, maybe a bit optimistic. The Predator drones on the front lines, but Hero has enough storms, and the mothership has arrived. Meanwhile, Lurker range is on the way. The storms washing over part of the army, but the Lurkers off to the left side. A single Tempest will send out a deep tissue massage every few seconds to each of those Lurkers. You definitely need more than one, but eventually it'll work its way through. The Oracles leading the charge, maybe a bit too much so, as he loses another one. Down to 1 Oracle, and without just the charge lots ignoring absolutely everything. Casual run-by. Meanwhile, a much less casual attempt at a run-by from Solar. But there's a dozen Zealots in the main, half that in the natural. The Lurkers are scrambling back. The Roaches just have given up on anything over here. Everyone trying to figure out exactly what's happening. Wait, did the Lurker Den die? No, he's building another one just in case. Okay, maybe a bit of a bout of panic there from Solar that Hero might actually focus down the Lurker Den. Doesn't get it, but you know, can never be too careful. I mean, you very much can, but in this case, I don't think it's a big deal. Meanwhile, they're adepts. Why are there adepts? Anyways, Hero keeping his adepts alive for a surprising amount of time. The wall-in held by some charge lots very uncomfortably. The adepts are gonna shade by as hero attempts to do adept micro at 200 supply, which, of course, he does. The Zerglings coming back to defend. Both lurker upgrades. Speed, burrow, and range are completed. A shrine to dark is on the way. Back to his dark. Maybe soon? Still like 6 months, but... Casual Zealot being... Archon being warped in alongside the Zealot. Solar scrambling to defend against the Prism. But, that's kind of the B-plot right now, as the main thrust of the army right down the center. The Revelation will spot a single lurker. The rest are backing off. Does he still have the Oracle? Indeed he does. Coming up with another round, slaps down the Revelation. The lurker's trying to get underneath. Time Warp covers the retreat. Corruptors try to close the distance. But hero is able to make it way too difficult. And the lurkers are not able to chase things down. Those are not real zealots. Though maybe inspiring hero. The Warp Prism somehow lived throughout all this. There's still an Archon down here, so some anti-air. More armies just trading in the center. That the only anti-air is Corruptors. And they're evaporating quickly to the Category 5 storms. Tempest not so great at dealing with Corruptors. But they're not terrible either. So 4 Tempest could easily deal with 4 bruised Corruptors. The Warp Prism finally strays too far. Is Lunge done? Technically, yes. Could have gotten the Prism. Not enough motivation. We've all been there. Somehow they're Templar here. This is happening. Storms on everything. Templar very dead. Active cloaking. Single Overseer overhead. Warp Prism. Oracles. Observers. Here comes some Immortals. Caught between a rock and a hard place. Going around the wrong corner. The Mothership, though, says, "Don't talk to me or my sons ever again." The Tempest cowering behind, but it's good enough to hold for now. The Mothership, with her massive bulk and huge amount of hit points, able to hold for now. The Time Warp going to cover, but the Mothership goes down. Another Revelation. Yep, those are lurkers. We'll chase it down. Hero's down 30 supply, so therefore, of course, he goes forward. The Revelation, a lot of those lurkers already badly bruised. A couple more going to be taken out. Juggling back. Archon makes it home. Observers lead the charge. Meanwhile, the warping in mid-fight. Corruptors piling in. Immortals targeted down. Warp Prism, blink. No detection. Some detection. 4 observers, they come back. The gang of observers. And the fight just kind of ends. Solar has lost 10,000 more resources. He's down to 150. He has 90 drones. And a massive economy. Hero, he didn't even really keep... He kept most of his Tempest alive. In a clear, unified army strategy. Yeah, that's how we're going to phrase it, all right? If you know, you know. Brings it all together, and Solar kind of trickles in when he needed a flood. The storms are washing away the majority of units, and... Well, things are certainly coming to a middle. As that fight, both of them kind of drunkenly stumbling their way into it. And both of them stumbling their way out. But Hero has a better army. Solar has a better economy. The Lurkers and Corruptors are strong, but without Infestors, without Vipers, well, and without detection for Dark Templar, it becomes more and more difficult. Some Zerglings will try to do the same, but if Zerglings could cloak, maybe they would succeed. Maybe next patch? Absolutely not gonna happen. I can only dream. Meanwhile, somehow the Warp Prism has survived all this. The DTs have no chance to escape it, not like it would matter much. And here comes Solar, maxed out yet again. Those 90 drones kicking in. The Corruptors wandering off. We're base trading. Here we go! Lurkers down the center, Corruptors in the main, looking for a target for Caustic Spray, and then realizing the actual target is on the other side of the map. Solar going to come back to defend with the Corruptors, eviscerating the Nexus. The base is carved out. Several Templar with multiple storms, and there are 5 Archons underneath with +3 attack. The Queen's caught in front. and somehow find themselves on the front line against one of the strongest Protoss compositions. Of course, try to survive a little bit longer. The Observer's very important in all this. Almost loses a Templar. Not quite. Storms over the top. Lurkers chasing. Holding the ramp for now. Storms on his own army. Because you're weaker than me, says hero. And the Protoss army has more HP. The Corruptors cannot weather it. Hero's holding the high ground of Solar's own base. But he's... Wait, there's still 2 Observers. He recalls out. There and back again. Did he dig too deep? And too greedily? Or, what is happening? Oh, an observer was left behind. A loyal observer. And somehow we're in a very similar spot yet again. Solar with 85 drones, 4-5 base economy. Hero with a better standing army for now. The Lurkers and Corruptors, not efficient, but effective. 38,000 to 27,000 resources lost. Another clutch of charge lots up to the top left corner, and this is quite relevant. There's only one really fresh mining base besides this. And now the attack. The Lurker's in a horrible spot here. For the Templar, as the tables turn before hero realizes, and he loses 2 of his Templar before he's able to get any detection. But the charge lots are chasing the drones on a trail of tears across the map. The rest are very adamant about chopping up one of the larvae. Storm softening up. Finally, Vipers join the field. Yeah, come take a look at these Lurkers, says the Viper, which seems a bit traitorous here, but there's actually no... Hero wins. It all comes together or falls apart. The chart, well, okay, so the Blink Stalkers were dying to the Lurkers, charge lots chasing, more charge lots, the army itself. I think the demoralization of the Vipers pulling in the Tempests. Oh, these Stalkers killed, and then it all just falls apart. Solar losing all his drones, losing his army, and losing the game. Hero, the master of disaster, the lord of chaos, somehow spins... I don't... Okay. Of all the games I've ever seen, that was certainly one of them. And how does it feel like Hero was in control of the game the entire time, despite being behind on supply and behind on bases? Well, it's because that army composition is so tough for Zerg to deal with, even if you have technically the counter army. But it's more that Hero does not respect you, or himself, or understands the concept. I think quite literally, Hero's willingness to just go caught Solar off guard several times. And by the time Solar put together what he thought was a strong counterattack, he was at nearly 200. And then it just all fell apart. What a disaster piece. Hero 1-0. Game 2. And that wasn't, I wouldn't even say, like, you may well know by this point that I have a strong opinion of Hero. The strongest on all sides of the spectrum, and I think there is one involved. But that wasn't mistakes. That was a masterclass there. Grand masterclass. He was weaving his way through the Lurkers, putting together the right army, and Solar was trying to do the same, but it just doesn't work as well as Zerg, except for that one guy who they named the Templar after. The #1 player in the world. Ranked by Dark, at least. Dark is the only Zerg player I've ever seen who's been able to pull off a similar sort of style. And one of the only Zerg players with a better than 50% record against this Protoss. Maddening. And it is so... I'm not even trying to... I try to make it dramatic, obviously. But it is legitimately rare when I get caught off guard like that. I did not expect the game to just kind of end. Especially after 2 or 3 fights that ended in not a draw, but definitely not a decisive victory. And then it just kind of ends. Like, okay. Well, here we are. Let's see if Solar can emotionally recover from that better than I. I would think so. Probe doing some mineral flirting. Has already blocked the base. My favorite part was seeing the mutas and then just going Mothership. Like, even if it was mass muta, just get the Mothership. Why not? All right, if we're going all the way. I'm ruminating right now. I'm trying to replay that. Is there anything I can use to make some sort of meta commentary about this match? And then I glance down and it's hero. So, no. I don't think so. Solar tried his early Spire timing. And against a typical player, maybe he would have been able to carve out more space for himself, but hero barely slowed down at all. That first adept again. A menace. Honestly, the early game, the poking and prodding and the childhood trauma of the Zerg that is inflicted in the first, like, 4 or 5 minutes defines much of the rest of the game. If you're able to kill 6, 7 drones and force out a dozen Zerglings, well, it's bad. Wow, that's just disrespectful. Hero leaves the wall open, yet Solar shall not pass. The door was open, but the way was shut. The oracles keep it. The way is shut. Now, well, the Zerglings will vengefully rip apart the adepts back at home. Hero a bit greedy with them, but still gets a couple drones. And look at the worker count. Solar's pumping out some more, but hero will have a pretty significant lead. Adept tucks into the mineral line and then realizes that shield battery isn't quite ideally placed for this. That doesn't wall it in, does it? I am... well, no. Maybe? I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on this one. But did hero manage to warp in his adept? Because that pylon looks a little off. And I am not... oh, sure. Just throw another fleet beacon. Here we go again. This time unprompted. Carriers? Tempest? Just Mothership? You don't get a second Stargate for Mothership, all right? I mean, probably a Mothership, but oh, another stasis. A stasis Wardi, if you would. Thank you, Wardi, for these Christmas Day games. It's so walled in. Help me, Step Probe, I'm stuck. Oh my. Who designs these things? We have like 30% less mining. Okay, well. This is actually a now, usually Protoss players will build their buildings. So in StarCraft 2, workers are not dumb. Unlike, say, the Brood War, they developed a lot more intelligence. But usually Protoss players will leave a gap in between their buildings, so that way their probes can mine. Hero, on the other hand, says, the gap is for children's clothes. Meanwhile, I'll show you how to wall up. Yep, it's a 100% stuck. All right. Help me, Step Prism. No, we're not going... okay, whatever. We'll keep... There are 2 carriers on the way. I feel like burying the lead a bit here with that adept. The fact that 2 carriers are in production. And right now, Solar is doing a baneling all-in. You know what banelings are not good against? Emotional trauma, correct. And also carriers. Yeah, okay, let him in. Wait. Sure, yeah. This makes it more interesting. The Stalker walks out, paid off by the Zerglings, bribed at the worst possible moment, and now, well, the Oracles come back. And... yeah. Alright, then. Base Spire is on the way. Hero loses 11 probes, which is approximately 11 more than he needed to lose. But it was very sporting of him to do so. Sure. Come on in. I mean, you got your fast pass, I assume. It's good for the rest of the game. Again, the Zerglings will get in. Not that the damage is likely to be significant, but keeping everything at home. And every second that Hero is stuck in his base is more time for Solar to come up with an actual response. Hero should have been moving out with the carriers as soon as they were revealed. But now? No. The 3rd time, though. He probably could have got in, but it wouldn't have mattered. He would have died immediately. 9 Corruptors on the way. Hero has +1 flyer. Air weapons. Flyer is for the Zerg. The Spire's right there. And speaking of Flyer Carapace is on the way. Actually a strong choice against the interceptors of the carriers. And there's the Mothership. I want to see a Mothership in all 7 games, assuming we get there. Every game of this series, I want a Mothership. I can't do anything about it. I can't manifest myself in the past, but if someone could, it'd probably be the person producing a Mothership right now. Time is a flat circle. You know what else is a flat circle? Motherships. Think about it. All right. Hashtag deep. There we are. It's not really a circle, is it? Shut up. Okay. Don't worry about it. Now that I look at it, let's get it. Shh. The Corruptors will spray and pray that they can actually kill a Nexus, and I think they're gonna get it. Yeah, building up that damage. And there goes Hero. Anywhere else? An Oracle dies at the start of the fight. Brenda, do we have any real anti-air? We're Zerg, Susan. How many times do I have to explain this? But there's some Corruptors. Yeah, we work with what we got. I miss Scourge. Shut up, Susan. Shut up. Sorry, I blacked out for... The Mothership is taken down. And, well, what happened? What happened here? What? Okay, the Zealots turned it around. I saw a whole bunch of Zergling parts and heard a bunch of Banelings. And yep, it was exactly that. The Banelings evaporating the Zealots after they cleave through all the Zerglings. Solar is maxed out. He's got a Congress of Corruptors. He's got Roaches and Ravagers and Banelings. Why does it feel like Hero is in a crushingly good position? Well, Hero's certainly acting like it. The Archons just stiff arming their way down. I'm not even sure if their arms are actually physical or if they're just manifestations of their overwhelming power and, more importantly, anger. That's their secret. They're always angry. Imagine being merged for life with someone who can't even attack. All right, and now suddenly you're supposed to figure out how to work together. Group projects are hard enough already. I'm not sure where that joke was going, but I also am not sure what Solar's going to do about this army besides continually bash infinite units into it. And hopefully overwhelm it, but there are 6 carriers, plus 2 air weapons is about to complete, which is quite significant. 25 more banelings. The battering ram of Zerg up against the shield of ire. But he's ready to shield bash. Meanwhile, charge lots to the north, charge lots to the west, select all army. Meanwhile, Guardian Shield helping out Archons underneath, hitting absolutely everything. They do bonus damage to all of it. Corrosive Bile, easily dodged, still 2 carriers. The charge lots have eviscerated 17, 20 drones. Another base chasing down some of the reinforcements. Another queen assassinated. The army's gone, and he's done it again. The son of a bitch has done it again. Oh my. For the 2nd game in a row, Solar shows up with 200 supply and goes out with a loss. How does he do it? Solar. 116 army supply to 88. But the Archons are so good. There was nothing back at home to defend. Solar put everything into the attack. Oh, he even got in with Bane. That's where all the probe kills were. Bunch of Banelings in the 3rd, but Hero doesn't care. Let's go to the Hero camp. Proto boosting more carriers. The Archon, yeah, Solar looked the other way. A move Banelings into Archons. And Hero, TG, GG. You could feel it. I think you could feel it. A game like that. Like, from the very start, honestly, I thought Solar might tap out with the Banelings being countered by carriers. If Hero had not just sportingly let the Banelings in to kill all of the probes at his natural, then I think Solar may very well have GG'd right there. But then Hero just kept letting him in. It just come on in, and it took another 2-3 minutes for Hero to stabilize. And by then, Solar already had 200 supply. Yes, 200 supply. It's like 80 McDonald's, all right? It isn't exactly the healthiest 200 supply you could have had, but it was 200 supply. And then it just kind of fell apart. Again. Torn asunder. Hero with another decisive victory after a topsy-turvy roller coaster game. 2 fleet beacons in a row, multiple motherships. I think he's only built 1 per game, but they were very important. There may have been more than 1 in game 1. Okay, they all blend together. It might just be the gravity of the situation. Remember Vortex? Remember the Archon toilet? Yeah. Possibly the worst designed but coolest looking ability. That's what the roguelike campaigns are for, okay? Roguelike, rather, more accurately. You can find my playthroughs. I've been addicted to the roguelike campaign mods. It's on the 2nd channel, Winter Gaming TV. You're like, oh, which video? One video, you think? I can't stop. It's a problem. But thankfully, the best roguelike RTS is the one that I've been playing and casting for 15 years. So that's a little convenient. Which is also upsetting, because the fact that people are still building, the fact that StarCraft 2 is still, by an order of magnitude, the best platform to Really? What are you doing? Who am I? You'll never know. You're a probe. No! Sorry. I'm, like and subscribe so I can get mental health care. Where were we? Oh, welcome to Tourmaline. Hero up 2-0. Now, after 2 decisive victories, I know how Hero does and how Hero plays. Hero very rarely clean sweep series. It's time for his dumbest build yet. The build that even Hero thinks is a bridge too far. This is such a consistent, not just against Solar, but in general. If Hero goes up a couple games in a series, he's decided, it's time. We'll do it live. Gonna throw out like a glaive adept into even more glaive adept, or like a blink DT rush, or honestly, there's a lot of strategies that sound like they could be good, like a mortal drop. Strategies that sound like they could be good, but the circumstances in which they actually are sometimes vanishingly small. Zergling just gets in, and he's going to successfully scout an Oracle producing out of the Stargate, which, quite a revelation. It's important to know it is an Oracle. Okay, if it was a Void Ray or a Phoenix, that's worth knowing as well. But sure, even Hero 95% of the time is going to be going for the Stargate Oracle. But it doesn't hurt to be sure. Overlord? Stalker murders it. That's a wall, right? I think so. Yeah, there's a little divot there. I feel like Zergling should be able to run over it and just fall into I'm imagining a sort of bamboo trap. Indiana Jones style. Hero is the Indiana Jones of Protoss. Somehow he gets out of the most ridiculous situations that, one, he shouldn't have been in the first place. Was it last game he walled in his own adept at the third and then blocked like 30% of his mining and then successfully carry a rush to counter banelings and then let the banelings in and then let the banelings in again and then defended with half the supply and then just kind of won the game? Really shouldn't be writing the descriptions for these movies. Meanwhile, an adept in the main at Tweeting, Susan! No! No, wait, that's just Karen. It's fine. The Hatchery Owner Association meetings are gonna be so much quieter. I don't. Well. One queen is set. 6 probes dead. 1 queen dead. Oh, wow, that is gruesome. Why is it so bright? Well, another baneling nest with +1 melee on the way. Solar, still weathering the drone losses. It's gonna be Blink. The Forge is a little slower this time. Hero has yet to pull out the crazy build that I was kind of expecting. Instead, it's just a slight variation. It's unclear whether it's intentionally a slight variation or if he just forgot his Forge. Well, is the lair done? No. Is the lair started? Also no. So that kind of precludes the other. Solar's going mass Zergling. Just, that's it. Zergling, okay, sorry. Zerglings and banelings. He's got 51 drones. He now has 40 Zerglings, anticipating a Blink Stalker timing. And it's unclear whether he's correct about that. But more and more lings on the way. Solar needs to get some damage done here. He's timing out +1 melee attack. He's got a couple dozen Zerglings over to the right flank. 11 Banes over to the left. The Oracles are chasing. Even more Zerglings in production. Solar is going all in. He must get damage with this somehow. And if Hero's on the other side of the map, and when the banelings come waddling in, well, that certainly ups the chances. Well, a single Stalker warped in. The probe's on the run. It's a bit late to recall, though it's taking surprisingly long. Can he... Oh! Well, that was so close to being an epic defense, but instead it's a total disaster. Meanwhile, the base is taken out. We're somehow base trading again, but he plugs forward. The Oracle's gonna help take out the Queens, but the +1 melee Zerglings will rip apart the Stalkers by the ankles. And they're already fragile creatures. And Solar has baited hero into an absolutely terrible situation. Hero was already halfway to base trading, except this time around, he's going to lose 2 key bases, and Solar lost 1 extraneous one. Cancel? Nah. Recall all the way back to the natural. There's Hydras on the way. Solar shoring up the drone count. The damage has been done. And this time around, there's not a Mothership or Tempest or even Templar in order to try to drag this back. This time around, Hero does not have the tools to sneak his way out of it. I mean, he does have Templar in production. He does still have the Oracles. Zerglings are not the most stable creatures. There should be enough energy here. Ooh, Stalker's blinking away. There's another set of Zerglings covering. The Oracles still gets a... Well. The tenuous hold just became completely unstrung. That Oracle could be taken out. There's some Hydras on the back. The Zerglings in the main... Wait, what? Okay, Hero going forward. He has a single Archon. The Banelings are targeted down. No, there's no way. Transfuses some Hydras. 2 Archons, too angry to die. Solar has 64 drones. He's building Hydras. Solar, this is his game to make no mistake. Or making plenty of mistakes. It's still Solar's game to lose. But 3 Archons with +1 attack. Hero will not be getting a better army. He wants to fight as soon as possible. Hydra speed is not done. +2 ground weapons is going to finish for Hero. The absolute perfect timing for it to do so. Right as the fight starts. But the Archons are eventually pin-cushioned by the Hydralisks. It's not enough. I think, therefore I am. But Solar may have been able to slap together enough damage early and enough defense later. As long as he's not too forward with the Hydras, another Archon comes trickling in. Hero is at half the supply, but that's never stopped him before. Emotionally and mentally, but physically it has, yes, to be clear. Yeah, the Hydra speed done. +1 melee and ranged attack. Just pick it off the Baneling. It's an Archon at half HP, which is 6. Or 5, technically. Don't be pedantic. Have you looked at the comments? Meanwhile, the third base again. The alternative is Hero. Never surrender! This time around, Hero. A mostly standard fare. An ambitious blink attack in Solar. A well-timed counter. Sets him up for success. Hero didn't do some crazy strat like I expected, but the outcome may be similar. Does he have Storm? Yes. Well, it's never over until the last storm dissipates. Loses the Templar. I think it had a second storm ready. Not anymore. Banelings. Try to block. It's okay. All right. Okay, Hero. Nope. All right. Well, he's gonna fight to the last. The last zealot. JJ. Literally the last zealot standing and fighting. And then Hero finally taps it out. Solar claws one back. And a pretty solid victory as well. He baited Hero into a terrible situation and took full advantage of it. Hero at no point. He was greedy with the Oracles. He wasn't actively scouting with the Oracles like he could have been. And he got caught off guard by the sheer magnitude of Zerglings. Which, not the easiest thing to do, but... Jimmy! What do you mean we have to log in? Well, hero, the old weakness. When he's doing something weird, go fucking kill him. And it seems like 100 Zerglings a pretty good counter to 20 Stalkers on the wrong side of the map. Has the momentum shifted? Or is it but a momentary speed bump? Game number 4. Hero, literally the first thing he does when he loads into the game, when the countdown completes, is pull a probe off the line. Solar regularly tries to get the hatch as soon as possible. And I think he may get it this time. The rush distance is just a little bit... He went for the 15 hatch. He did not build an overlord. He did not... He did a single extractor trick to sneak out an extra drone. But the rush distance is long enough that hero literally could not have blocked it. So we finally found an opportunity to get the Natchery. Now, the trade-off is banking larva, as well as just not having the drones as early. It's a question of whether you value the safety and security of having your hatchery at the natural, or a little bit more economy, but a less concentrated defense. And honestly, I do not blame Solar for doing his best to make sure his units are as close together as possible, because Hero has a tendency to poke holes in your defense and then come in like the Shining, like, here's Protoss! I don't... Which, you know, 2 out of 3 so far. Probe. We're gonna have that standoff yet again. Not really. Probe, just flirting with the minerals a bit. The drone. You can't be here. Well. Now that phase is over. In fact, Hero's actually sending the probe all the way back. Huh. Stargate on the way. The Zerglings are looking for it. But the Overlord should have seen it go back. But that doesn't necessarily mean he went home. He's aware of the Overlord. Well. A second adept shading across. The effectiveness of the adept should be reduced somewhat by the fact that you can move your lings and queens between the main and the natural much more easily. Still, Hero will have that slight worker lead, as is pretty standard at this stage of the game. Solar, if everything goes pretty well, doesn't even have to go perfect, just pretty well, he should catch up. This is pretty optimistic. Loses one adept, another one bruised. The Oracle's on the way. We've seen the script before. The 2 adepts, the Oracle. Really, it's because the Oracle is the one size fits all. Now we're doing the Oracle talk, all right? I've decided. It forces a certain response. The 6 to 8 queens defense. You're gonna... Don't do it. He's like, but I'm not in... Ooh, now that's a play. Oh no, the timing! The inject! And then she can watch her work. As the stasis. Got the inject at the split second as the stasis triggered. Overlord comes in to see all the tech. But hero has bamboozled it by simply not building any tech. A classic misdirection. So, tricycles on the field. Twilight and Forge behind. I was wondering if we'd have a Moracle sort of build, but no. Back to the Twilight Forge. Remarkably standard. Oh, but the Queens! The Oracles! Absolutely no respect. Burninating across the countryside. Another Queen pops up. And, well... It could be worse, but it's... Oh! Get off my creep! Brenda, are you good? No! It was mostly rhetorical. Oracles! Susan! How you can't scare me like that. Not since the war. Sorry, Brenda, I don't have time for this. Sorry, I am whacked out first. Okay, the Shady Bunch will be ripped apart. Couple adepts with like a quarter adept HP between them will make their way back home. Thankfully not walled in. It's gonna be charged this time. Solar leaning on the banelings. And somewhat paradoxically, charge lots are quite good against Ling Bane. Despite the banelings technically being a counter to Zealots, practically not as great. As long as hero doesn't wander an entire troop of charge lots directly into mass baneling, it's not a very efficient trade as it's minerals for gas. Double robo behind the charge lots. Meanwhile, a Hydraless Den immediately for Solar. A strong choice in most scenarios. Oh. Oracle overshoots just a bit. What? Oh, he's just slapping it all together and attacking. All right. 64. Their banelings on the way. The Oracle. Oh, the charge slots. At the long distance charge. The banelings are popping out. And honestly, this is a pretty decent... Well, no, never mind. I think hero just won the game. Yeah. Well, some of the units are kind of stuck in the baneling nest. Hero just drives directly into the heart of the swarm and cleaves all the way through, eviscerating the... Yeah, he just... Okay, he's dead.
He's dead, Jim.
Wow! Hero strikes back, the smiling assassin. It looked like we were shaping up for a solid mid-game, but then hero just cut right through him. Wow. You did it again. Hero's now on match point with one of the most... it wasn't even all in. He had 64 probes. He was actively building double Robo Immortal. But none of them were even across the map. Like... And then it just kind of ends. So... Alright. Well, Hero one game away from being the Santa we deserve. Wardi's Christmas Day games. I'm not sure if they were actually played on Christmas Day or if it was just broadcast on Christmas. Either way. Thank you to Wardi for a great 2025, and I'm looking forward to even better, hopefully. At least a little bit better. 2026. Here we go. Celestial Enclave. hero breaking out the relatively simple yet very effective charge lot timing. Cutting right there. So that was taking advantage of the fact that Solar has been kind of weak in the early layer attack. He either goes for Ling Bane or he builds up to Mass Hydra. But that timing right when the layer finished, before the Hydras have speed or even are out of production, before the Banelings have speed, before the 4th base is really online. Not sure how much of that was Hero saying, I'm going to hit that timing, and more just vibing. But either way, it was clearly deadly effective. That was a ladder build right there. Then again, like, every third Protoss, from, like, high diamond to the rank 1 in the world, breaks out the, like, 2.5 base charge lot timing on a regular basis. And then the rest turtle to carriers, but still. And then there's a few who cannon rush. And about 70% of bar... You know, people who play under barcode names that aren't threatening either of the players on this screen with the occasional loss. It feels like almost a giveaway that they cannon rush so often. For me, at least this season, of barcode Protoss I've faced, in admittedly lower level than this, but that's my point, right? Masters, GM-ish, over 50% of barcode Protoss cannon rush, which is hilarious because you can just hard counter it. And if you, that means if I'm hard countering the cannon rush, one way or another, as random, it varies. Maybe that ups the chances, I guess, but then I'm still going to have over a 50% win rate. And then there's the other games where I'm not necessarily losing to hard counter a cannon rush. But I digress. And I need to talk about how Hero was doing the counter pool build, which we've seen before. No wall. And then he's going to do something at the natural, but right now he's just got a pylon like a lighthouse, seeing him off. Yeah, Hero was potentially anticipating an early pool timing. Except, fool me once, and clearly he's not going to be fooled again. Solar actually tried it against Hero. I believe the RSL? Just a few weeks ago, another high-profile match. And Hero tries to bait him into it again, but it doesn't pan out. Solar's not going to risk it. Void Ray! For the first time, making a cameo appearance. Going to melt the first Overlord. The adepts will get in. The queens. Oh no. One's gonna get behind the natural. Maybe kill another drone. Tries to body block. Oh, gets it! And the queen timing. He's chasing. He gets another one. 3 drone kills. Meanwhile, the Overlord was cauterized off screen by the Void Ray. That means it might come back in the next season. Probably will. Miraculously saved. Not again. Another drone. This adept. It's too many. There's too many. It's 4. Oh my. Where are the queens? And oh look, an Overlord. He decides against it because Void Rays are a bit unwieldy. A whole bunch of knitting needles coming out. Solar actually misses a volley hitting the. Oh. Solar can't catch a break. Somehow the adept on the other. Like, Solar could have run into the main, but instead. What? Somehow a Zergling slipped through. But only one. The other 2 were blocked out. Did he recall the Void Ray? No. Just flew back home. They could do that. Twilight and Forge. A bit of a different start, but ending up towards the same direction. Is it time for the glaives? Alright, we haven't had a glaive all in yet. No, he's sending the Shady Bunch out. It's unlikely. charge. Gonna whip out the shades. The Oracle is trying to distract the queens and will be successful in doing so. Jams in between the gas geysers. Actually blocks the Hydra Den for... The Adept's still gonna find some more damage. Where did the Oracles go? Off to the side. 3 more drones dead. The Queen in an awkward spot. The Zerglings, so... This could have been a total disaster for Solar. And instead, it was just a moderate disaster for Solar. He has lost way too many drones to way too few units. 10 Adepts have killed 26 Zerglings, one way or another, and 15 drones. The Adepts are throwaway units. And yes, he threw a lot away. But keeping the Zerg economy... Oh, he's building a Phoenix? Did he not see the Hydra Den? Technically, yes, but what he actually saw, I don't think he was looking at the Hydra Den in that location. I think he's seeing all these gas geysers, but now he'll see the Hydras. I wonder if he'll cancel the Phoenix. You know, I have one Phoenix, whatever. All right. Yeah. But the Hydras are clearly the choice here. Solar's down 10 workers. That is a sick pylon. They have these cool ass pylons. I don't. Solar is in a pretty desperate scenario to get damage done. The supplies may be even, but the obligation for Solar to... Well, he has 2 options. Go all in, which could be trouble, or don't, which could be double. If he sits back, then hero can do whatever he wants, which may just be flying oracles into Hydras and Queens, or it may be getting a Mothership, or may just be attacking right now. But if he all-ins and doesn't quite nail the timing, there's no coming back from it either. He has to decide which one will work out better for him, and it looks like Solar's going for that 3-base timing. Yes, he has a 4th hatch, but it's almost entirely for production. There is no storm for hero. He has some stasis. He has archons. The rocks are spotted here. Solar could actually... I don't think the archon... Can the archons slip through back into the main? Much like your mother, they have issues with tight spaces. Oh, the zealot. Oh! There's a dozen charge slots. And Solar's backing off because hero committed a huge chunk of his army. Like a solid 1/3 of his army supply is in charge slots. Oh yeah, of course there's a fleet beacon on the way. I did not get a Mothership every game of this series. All right, we've already broken that rule, but hero looking to make up for it. The Phoenix has been relegated to scouting. Eventually the charge slots are cleaned up, but hero had the superior economy. As time goes on, it gets better and better for hero and worse for Solar. Solar's army is not getting any better, or at least it's not getting better exponentially like heroes will with upgrades and unit composition. It's Hydras, Lings, and Banes. Having 90 supply is not that much better than having 70, whereas the opposite is true for hero. Meanwhile, though, the layout of the wall is certainly creating quite a conundrum. Though the Hydras to the north side are easily going to be taken out. There are 4 Archons to buffer in the front. It's a whole bunch of Hydras, a couple charge slots, really helping out. It's +2 attack for hero against no upgrade. 13 probes dead. The main base, all the probes dead somehow. The Hydras slipping in behind the Archons. And despite all of it, hero is able to, with overwhelming power, just destroy the army and claim victory. A decisive, dominating victory. I'm a little jealous. 4 games to 1. Bringing us to our anti-spoiler bonus game of hero versus Clem. I wasn't sure how it went down besides the fact that we might need an anti-spoiler. Solar coming up short time and time again. In fact, I think game 1 Well, he did win a game, so I guess that was the closest he got to winning, was actually doing so. But hero just slapping him around with these timings that Solar, even if he's prepared for it, no, he's not. So, a decisive victory for the Mad King of Protoss. And we're back to White Rabbit to see, in the same tournament? Same tournament? One of Wardi's tournaments. Well, that doesn't narrow it down. Okay, one of Wardi's tournaments. Which, again, is quite a wide range, but anyways. All I know is Dark Templar. Much like every other Silver player. All I know is Dark Templar. That's what this game is about. I don't even know if hero... In fact, half the time when hero loses, it's more entertaining. Hero's been well known to be quite the, somewhat ironically, anti-hero to Clem. The villain in that story. Whereas Clem tries to demonstrate his almost exploitatively perfect micro. Which does not. It's like oil and water. And hero is gasoline. Which I guess would be closer to oil in this case. But you think it's water, but it's actually gasoline. Which... Anyways, moving on. The probe. Just being annoying on Clem's side of things. The SCVs showing the marks of its efforts. As Clem not going to waste any time or minerals on repairing them. Twilight Council is the choice. I really didn't think hero would just slice through Solar like that. Recently, Solar has been arguably the best Zerg in the world, considering Serral has... They managed to drag Serral out of hibernation. He's finished, so I assume they just, for 4 or 5 months of the year, just go skiing with trolls or something. Something like that. But Serral has played now in actual series. Team Basilisk Big Brain Bouts. So his team was like, Serral, get over here. And he played against Showtime in Protoss versus Zerg. And destroyed him 3-0. And it wasn't even close. Unfortunately, we don't have the replays, but you can check it out on their channel. Serral not missing a beat. Not Showtime, of course, is not. Well, nobody's on Serral's level. Arguably. But in case you're wondering, that is the result of Serral playing his first series on the new patch. He's played a few Team League matches, best of ones. He lost to Clem. He beat several other players who are not nearly as accomplished. But as expected, that's why he's on the team. But overall, what I'm trying to say is Solar has been putting in the work. He's currently ranked the #2 Zerg in the world. The thing is, this has happened before a few times in Solar's career, where he looks incredible for a couple months and then loses that edge. I'm hoping he can keep it relatively sharp, but that was a rough series. Everyone has those series against hero, but even Serral, to be honest. Cyclone drop. Anyway, Clem is here. Cyclone drop. But hero very aware. In fact, the Blade Stalkers just knock it out of the oh. Wow. That is about as bad as that ever could have gone. Medevac gets knocked out of the sky with the Cyclone. Kills the Marines. Yeah, that's bad. Raven on the way. There's an observer on the other side. Hero is blinking for... Did he get his... Hey! Hey, wait! Hey! Step Stalker! He's waiting for the... Stalker that got stuck somehow between the refinery and the ramp. Anyways, warping in more. Ah! Thank you! Now, threatening the main base, and that blinks to the right. Wow, slurping up Ghetto Blink into the prism. There's a single siege tank. And hero goes forward. Gonna blink right on top. The Raven trying to slap down some auto turrets, but it'll cost it its life. And hero is not letting up. He's got charge on the way as well. It's almost done already. The 2 siege tanks hitting the ramp. The Marines are thinning out very quickly. Clem is not pulling the boys, which may be a mistake as he loses yet another tank. The siege tank on the high ground finding some damage, but it's far too far away in order to protect the natural. The Blink Stalkers are just slicing through 6 SCVs dead. What's happening on the other side? A heli? What? A heli? Okay. Hellion slips through, dropping mules mid-fight. Single Marauder. A lot of those Stalkers badly bruised. The Hellion manages to get 3 kills, which is something. The main base is potentially vulnerable. It's definitely an awkward location to blink into, but that's never stopped hero before. The stim pack upgrade is knocked out, denied, 2/3 of the way done. And he's just blunking right through him. Clem still has siege tanks, so we should be able to stabilize, but we have to ask ourselves that question. Have you liked and subscribed? And at what cost? The Observer finally goes down, but there's still a Warp Prism potentially. The Stalker's blinking off to the side, and Clem is trying to reposition the siege tanks with the Metavacs. Hero, though, brings the Stalkers. Wait, those are charge lots into the main. And Clem taking it from both ends, and not in a fun way. Meanwhile, the charge lots working on the tech lab. Stim restarts. Dark Shrine is on the way. It's been quite a road getting here, but it seems like a pretty intuitive follow-up. Hero has a 3rd base comfortably mined. 4 more gateways in production. And oh, he drops the Zealots right on top. The Warp Prism goes down, but well worth the cost. The last siege tank is taken out. And without Stim, he can't really chase down those Stalkers. The Marines are going to get picked off more than one by one. The Marauders are the only thing holding it together now. He picks up into the medevac, but he spots it moving out. I'm pretty sure Clem just saw the Observer. Clem scrambling back to defend. There's not enough here. There's a siege tank on the high ground. He's not sieging it up because it's far too risky. Knocks out the Observer because it was in surveillance mode and therefore revealed. But more charge lots are on the way. The Dark Shrine is closing in. Another Prism is in production. And Clem, he's continually battered by the constant waves of Protoss. It's almost like a MOBA at this point. And heroes the creeps. An Immortal, a scouting Immortal, joins up with the surviving 3 Stalkers. And Hero manages to draw the supply count even. He's getting blink for DTs and a 4th Nexus. Oh my. Clem is just trying to stabilize, and yeah, he saw the Dark Templar. Doesn't get a single kill, but there's only 1 more scan. And another DT. He's gonna split the difference here. Scans the main, saves the Dark Templar. Another one at the natural can delay the missile turret. Gonna kill so many of them. He's not actually building the turret. Oh my, 10 SCVs dead. Hero cannot stop and will not stop. Another DT. He's working on concussive shells. Clem finally managed to get Stim and combat shield. The DT. He may end up losing both at this rate. Almost loses the Prism, but finally Clem will clean up his base. But Hero says, let's get dirty. Which is a weird thing for a Protoss to say, considering they don't have mouths. It's more of a look. The DTs come in for another pass. Slice away the concussive shells. No tech labs for you. Uninstalling the add-ons. And the DT blinks out of the base. Oh my. Another scan. Hero's up 30 supply. He has 19 charge lots. A couple Immortals. He's working on +2 attack, and Clem has not been able to get out of his base the entire game. His 1 attempt with the medevac was shot down. I think he's been just keeping track of the amount of energy on the orbitals. And now, The army is split, but hero not so much. The warp prism in front of everything. Cuts off the reinforcements. The boys are pre-pulled. And hero, well, this is actually kind of a mediocre fight to start, but warps in mid-fight. Somehow, this is both BM and aggressive at the same time. A couple Vikings to help with the prism, but are they gonna help with the charge lots? I don't think so. There might only be one way or two letters out of this one. As hero takes full control of the situation and will drive this car off a bridge rather than give it up. The Immortals are blasting through. GG. Hero for the icing and the cherry and the cheese on top. Defeats Clem in our anti-spoiler game. So hopefully you enjoyed as much as I did. Hero eviscerating Solar and blinking all over Clem. Another extravaganza in the Forrest Gumpian school of Protoss who don't think good. Or do think great. But anyways, Mom always said a hero series is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership, but I hear liking and subscribing is still free. At least for now. Hyping. And thank you to our meal tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jiggy, Devin, Door, Kate, Mario, Soup. Glad you still enjoy. And, well, I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Make sure to check out this video that Jimmy picked out just for you. And, thank you for watching. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.